I'm here to tell you all about a scientific method. The scientific method is a series of steps followed by scientific investigators to answer specific questions about the natural world. It involves making observation, formulating a hypothesis, and conducting scientific experiment. Scientific inquiry starts with an observation followed by the formulation of a question about what has been observed. The steps of scientific method are as follows: 1. Observation. 2. Or question. 3. Hypothesis. 4. Experiment. 5. Result. And 6. Conclusion. 1. Observation. The first step of the scientific method involves making an observation about something that interests you. This is very important if you are doing a scientific project, because you want your project to be focused on something that will hold you attention. Your observation can be on anything from plant movement to animal behavior, as long as it is something you really want to know more about. This is where you come up with the idea for your scientific project. 2. Question. Once you make your observation, you must formulate a question about what you have observed. Your question should tell what is that you are trying to discover or accomplish in your experiment. When starting your question, you should be as specific as possible. For example, if you are doing a project on plants, you may want to know how plants interact with microbes. Your question may be, do plant spikes inhibit bacterial growth? 3. Hypothesis. The hypothesis is a key component of the scientific method. A hypothesis is an idea that is suggested as an explanation for a natural event, a particular experience, or specific condition that can be tested through definable experimentation. It states the purpose of your experiment, the variable used, and the predicted outcome of your experiment. It is important to note that hypotheses must be testable. That means that you should be able to test your hypothesis through experimentation. Your hypothesis must either be supported or falsified by your experiment. An example of good hypothesis: if there is relation between listening to music and heart rate, then listening to music will cause a person resting heart rate to either increase or decrease. 4. Experiment. Once you develop a hypothesis, you must design and conduct an experiment that will test it. You should develop a procedure that states very clearly how you plan to conduct your experiment. It is important that you include and identify a controlled variable or dependent variable in your procedure. Control allows us to a single variable in an experiment because they are unchanged. We can then make observation and comparison between our controls and our independent variables or things that change in the experiment to develop an accurate conclusion. 5. Result. The results are where you report what happened in the experiment. That includes detailing all observation and data made during your experiment. Most people find it easier to visualize the data by charting or graphing the information. 6. Conclusion. The final step of scientific method in developing a conclusion. This is where all of results from the experiment are analyzed and a determination is reached about the hypothesis. Did the experiment support or reject your hypothesis? If your hypothesis was supported, great. If not, repeat the experiment or think of way to improve procedure. Now, I want to tell characteristic of the scientific method. According to search, are several characteristics of the scientific method. 1. Critical, analytical, means that the method shows the existence of an appropriate process for identifying problems and determining methods for problem solving. 2. Logical, meanings that can provide scientific arguments, conclusion made rationally based on available evidence. 3. Objective, meaning that it can be evaluated by other scientists in the same study with the same condition. 4. Conceptual, and the last 5. Empirical. Thanks.